Hey girls and boys, it's Mr. McAndrew, the math coach. Super excited to get ready to do some more area and perimeter. All right, so the other day we were finding area and perimeter. Today we're not going to worry about perimeter so much, we're going to focus on area, but here's the catch. We're not going to just be finding area. Sometimes I'm going to give you the area and the length, and then we have to find the width. Or I'll give you the area and the width, and we'll have to find the length. Like, what, Mr. McAndrew? Come again? All right, so let's talk about this, okay? So let's take a look. What if I need a rug, okay, for a hallway that's about let's say 3 feet wide, okay? 3 feet. And I only have enough money for a rug that is a total of, let's say, 15 square inches. Feet total. So the area, the area is 15 square feet. And we know the width is 3 feet. Okay? All right. So how are we going to figure out how long is this rug going to be? How much can I afford to have, how long of a rug can I afford is the question. So there's a few ways of thinking about this, right? If we know that the rug is going to end up being a total of 15 feet, right? The area is 15 and the width is 3. We could think of it as division, right? Or we could think all right, so 3 times what? Right? 3 rows of what is going to get me 15. So 3 times, I think 5 should do it, right? So let's find out. So here's another one. Let's see, if I put 5 in this one and 5 in here, let's see, do we get to 15? I think we do. 5, 10, 15, so that works. Okay, so I didn't need to go so far. All right. So you can see that, right, if we had taken 15, which we knew was the area, and divided that by the width, which was 3, that would give us the length, which is 5. Okay? Or we could have thought of it as 3 times what is going to give us 15, which is also 5. All right, let's look at another problem like this. All right, so I moved myself over there. So if you have a rectangle, right, and we know the area, all the space that it takes up is 20 square inches, and let's say that you know the width is 4 inches, okay, then what's going to be the length? All right, we know this side's 4, we know this side is whatever the length is, but we don't know what the length is, right? But if you think of it, if we know that whatever the width is, right, we know that width times the length equals the area. So we have the width, which is 4. We don't know the length, but we know the area, which is 20. Right, now we can say, oh, well, 4 times 5 is 20. Right, or we could think of it as division. If I take 20 and I divide it by 4, I'm going to get 5, right? If I know the area is 20 and I divide it into 4, if I erase this part, if I divide it into 4 equal rows, then each row will have to be 5 in each row to get to 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. All right, let's take a look at some examples of this and see how we do, okay? All right, so let's we're going to do a couple things together, and then it'll prepare you to do the independent work. I'm going to say again, though, all right, it's really important that when I ask you to pause the video and try it out yourself, that you do that. If you don't, it'll be easier because you won't really be doing much. You'll just be watching me, but it'll be harder later when you're trying to figure it out, okay? So it's really important that you do that. It's really good for your brain to try it out. Even when you're kind of like struggling, your brain's really growing. Okay? All right. So let's get to the issue. So take this out of your math packet, or just turn to your math packet. It says Wednesday practice with Mr. McAndrew, page 1. All right, this will be done with Mr. McAndrew during his video. Read each problem about the ants of Antopolis carefully, it says. First, fill what you know, and then solve for what you need to find out. Okay, so and it says you may use square inch tiles, right, which we just used. Okay, or you can also use grid paper. I put extra grid paper in your math packet. It looks like this. It says, grid paper. All right. So let's do the first one together, then you'll try one on your own, okay? It says the ants of Antopolis need to build an airplane runway that is 5 centimeters wide. Okay, so I'm already thinking it's a runway, right? It's kind of long. Okay, so I'm going to put, it's 5 centimeters wide, right? Let's see. If the area, okay, so I already know the width, right? The width is 5 centimeters. I'm going to write that down. And the area of the space they have is 40 square centimeters. I'm going to write that down. 40 square centimeters. So I'm looking for the length. Okay, so I know this is 5. I don't know what this is, but I do know that this is 40 square centimeters. Okay? And I know that I can think of this one of two ways. I can think of it either as 5 times something equals 40, or I can think of it as 40 divided by 5 equals the length. Right? That's going to be, this question mark is going to be the length. Okay, so let's think about this. 5 rows of what would get me to 40? Right? You can think of it that way. So I'm thinking, I think 5 times 8 is 40, and I know that I have 40, and I divide it into 5 equal groups, I get 8. So the length must be 8 centimeters. All right, now if you want to use your grid paper for this, okay, you could use that. So for example, if you were doing this, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And you know the area is 40. So you could say, okay, so if it's like this, that's only 5. 2 times 5 would give you 10, right? This would give you, if I just did it like this, that would give you only 15, right? 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And you'll see that the length is 8 and the width is 5 and the area is 40. So if using the grid paper is helpful for you, then please do it, especially if your division facts are still kind of rusty. Okay? All right. So the second one, and let's see, the second one I want you to try on your own. Okay? It says Annie Ant wants to build an addition onto her ant house. Huh, that's kind of funny. She wants it to be 9 centimeters long. So we know the length, and about 36 square centimeters of total space. Okay, so we know total space, that would be the area, right? What is the width? So I want you to see if you can find the width. If you have a multiplication chart, that could also help you if you're still struggling with some of those facts. But you can use your grid paper or your square inch tiles. All right, so stop the video. And once you've solved it, or at least tried to solve it, give it a few minutes, then come on back and we'll discuss. All right, bye-bye. All right, so how'd you do? If you haven't done it yet, please do it now. Okay, stop the video. But I'm thinking that we know the area is 36, right? And we know that the length is 9. So we know that this is 9. We know the total is 36. So if we think of this as 36, right, broken up into how many equal rows of 9, I'm thinking, okay, so 36 divided by 9, I know that's 4 because I know that 9 times 4 is 36, okay? So there you go. Or you could have thought of it as 9 times, right, 9 times whatever the W is, equals the area, which is 36. And I know that 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, if you don't know your multiplication facts yet, you can see, and your division facts, you can see why it's important. All right? Otherwise, you know what, I'll put in a multiplication table for you into the packet, so you can use that as well. All right, this next one is a little bit more challenging. Okay, I'm just going to read it to you real quick, and then I want you to see what you can do with it. Actually, it's not that challenging. It's actually, you know what? You're good. Read the problem, see if you can figure it out, and then when you come back, we'll discuss it. Okay? All right, I'll see you soon. All right, so if you haven't done the problem, do it now. All right, otherwise, we can do it together. We know that adamant has 27 seeds, right? And that each seed takes up 1 square centimeter. That means he's got 27 square centimeters of space. So we'll say 27 square centimeters. Okay, and there's 3 rows of seeds. So we know there's 3 rows. I'm going to think of it like this. There's 1 row, there's 2 rows, there's 3 rows. Right? We know the whole thing, right, is 27 square centimeters. And we know that there's 3 rows. So the question is, how many seeds are in each row to make 27? Right? So in other words, 3 times how many seeds in each row gives us 27. Well, if you know that 3 times 9 is 27, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 seeds in each row. Okay, or you could have thought if there's 27 seeds and they're broken up into 3 rows, that's 27 divided by 3 equals 9. Okay, so we know that in this case the length, we didn't know the length. We knew the width, which was 3. And it's a little bit different, right, with the seeds. But we know now that the length is 9 centimeters. Okay, 9, and this was 3. All right, and yeah, sure enough, 3 times 9 is 27. Okay, so these are ways that we can think about area. Even if we know the area, but we don't, and we know the length or the width, we can find the other one. Okay? All right, let's take a look at a few more problems. All right, so this is going to be our practice, and then you'll have some problems like this on your own. But this first one, okay, I'll read, is a tough one. It says, Dan wants to pave his driveway. If his driveway has an area of 1,290 meters and is 6 meters wide, then how long is Dan's driveway? All right, so take a look, try it out, see what you can do, and when you have what you think is a reasonable answer, come back and we'll see how it goes, okay? All right, so we know the area is 1,290 square meters, and the width is 6 meters. What we're trying to figure out is the length, right? So I know that a lot of you have been using partial quotients to solve this. So let me show you a couple different ways that might look, or at least one way. So we're doing 6 into 1,290, right? Hopefully I have enough space here. So if I look, I can see that 200 is going to be pretty good because 6 times 200 is 1,200. And that leaves me with 90. I know that 6 times 10 is 60. And that leaves me with 30. And I know that 6 times 5 is 30, and that gets rid of all of them. So that gives me 215. Okay, so length equals 215. Did you guys get 215? All right. Here's another way you could have done it. And if you weren't sure that 6 times 200, you could have done 100, taken away 600, another 100, which is 600, and then finish it off the same way. Either way, you get the answer of 215. Okay? We don't have much time left on the video, but this last problem is pretty challenging. It's a 2-step process. I'm going to show you how I would do it, and then there'll be one for you to try, okay? Sorry, boys and girls. Please try the problem yourself first, and then I'll show you what I get, okay? So try it out and see what you get. All right, so boys and girls, the first thing you need to do is find the area. So I used my area model, and I got, see, 180 plus 20 so it's 216, okay? But the question is, if each square foot costs $7, then how much will the rug cost? So the answer is not 216, it's 216 times 7, which is, so here's your area model. If you add up 1,400 plus 70 plus 42. There you go.